What's up, everybody? Today I'm pleased to be one of the first people to check out this refreshed 2019 Elantra Value Edition out here at Gates Hyundai in Richmond, Kentucky. If you're interested in any new Hyundai, be sure to give them a call or follow the link provided to their website in the video description. Now, for those of you that don't know, I actually own a 2018 Elantra, so it goes without saying I'm a fan of Hyundai's value-oriented models. And for 2019, Hyundai hopes to bring more value, style, and tech to the table. But is it good enough to compete with new rivals? Let's go ahead and find out. So starting out with the exterior, even though it was just redesigned 2 years ago, Hyundai has taken an unusually heavy-handed approach here. Nothing up front has been left unchanged, with everything taking on new angular shapes. The grille itself has been enlarged, and the silver bars from the outgoing model have been replaced with thin chrome ones. But by far the most distinct element of the new front are these triangle-shaped headlights. They look like nothing else on the road, and if you get one of the higher trims, the silver inside unit is replaced with an LED daytime running light. The headlight itself is this halogen beam until the Limited. Really, the only part of the exterior that was left alone was the side, and even then you can tell the hood is more sloped than before. Moving around to the back, it has received really extensive changes, and now bears a lot of resemblance to the Sonata. Like its older brother, the license plate has moved from the trunk to the bumper, and in its place Elantra lettering across the back. Like the headlights, the taillights have also taken on a more angular shape, and they would be LED on Limited and Sport. Finally, the lower area is all black, besides for a new diffuser and integrated reverse light. So overall, the changes are quite extensive, and whether you like them or not, they definitely make the Elantra more distinctive compared to humdrum rivals. Now, checking out other features of the outside, all trims get new wheel designs this year. On this mid-level Value Edition, we get the 16-inch alloys with a new bright finish, which go up to 17s on the Limited and 18s on the Sport. The remaining Eco and SE trims both have 15-inch wheels, which are steel with covers in the case of the base model. Coming up to the mirrors, they are always body colored and power adjusting, but you have to go for at least the SEL for heating. And one impressive thing that carries over from 2018 is that all but the very base model comes standard with blind spot monitoring and rear cross traffic alert. But for 2019, they actually made this even better by dropping the entire suite of active safety systems down from the Limited to the SEL. Those systems are front emergency braking, lane keeping assist, and driver attention assist. However, pedestrian detection, adaptive cruise control, and auto high beams will remain available on the upper trims. Finally, we'll end things here on the outside with the fuel tank. It is 14 gallons across the lineup, which is good for 448 miles of range in most configurations. Well, that pretty much sums up all the exterior changes. So now let's see if they've made big changes to the interior. Now, all 2019 Elantras will come standard with keyless entry, but only the Value Edition and higher will get this nice key fob and intelligent entry. It does have a really nice fob. I love the silver buttons, and there is silver trim on the side. However, to get in, it does not have a sensor behind the door handle, so you have to push this by a button. Now, first looking inside the 2019 Elantra, you're not going to see very many changes over last year. Now, this model being the Value Edition does come standard with these cloth seats in either this beige color, gray, or black. Now, moving up to the Limited trim will give you leather seating, and it's available in those same three colors. However, you do also have the Sport model, which is available in black only, and that has leather trimming on the outside of the seat. Now, coming over to your door trim, it's not any different from last year, so you do still have a padding where your elbow will rest, as well as some cloth above it. Additionally, your driver's window is fully automatic, and the other ones are just power. Down below that, you do have a bottle holder. And moving over to your seat, you will notice it's manually adjusting, and it is that way on all models besides for the Limited, which gets power lumbar support. And like I said, this is the cloth seats. Has a pretty interesting design in the middle, and these are very comfortable seats. So first, looking around the cabin of the 2019 Elantra, I feel right at home because this isn't too different from last year's model. And with that come nice materials. So starting out with the upper dash, we do have a little bit of a change for 2019. This material is like a carbon fibery texture, and that's new this year. It does extend all the way down past the screen, and it also comes above that air vent over there. As far as your other materials, this is soft touch plastic, and you do have some silver trim accenting. And as far as build quality, it's as good as last year's, so it's very high quality. Everything fits together very well. Now to start the Elantra, just push the standard button on the Value Edition and higher. When you do, you will see that we have the 7-inch display on this model. However, an 8-inch display is available on the Limited Ultimate, and a 5-inch display is standard on the base model. So coming to your gauges, you will notice a little bit of a different design for 2019. This little checkered pattern in the middle of both of the gauges is new for 2019, makes it look a little bit more sporty. Now as far as the middle screen, it is 4.2 inches, which is the same as last year, and you can control it through these buttons on the steering wheel. You will notice you have all your standard stuff, and new for 2019 is a nice animation switching between them. Now coming back to the steering wheel, it is leather wrapped on the Value Edition trims and higher, and this is one of my favorite design touches for the 2019 model. It does have a nice new design, as well as a silver trim piece down here to accent, and nicer buttons on the steering wheel controls. It's also worth noting that these buttons are standard on the SE manual model, where they weren't last year. Now coming down, obviously your wheel is manually adjusting, and over here to the left you will notice controls for the newly standard safety systems on the SEL trims and higher. Now as far as storage is concerned in the Elantra, you will find plenty of it. Now coming over to your center console, it is nicely padded on the top, and inside you're going to find a pretty deep amount of space, and it is nicely felt lined. However, you won't find any connections inside of here. In front of that you do have some cup holders, as well as a manual handbrake. Now coming up to this area, you will find that it's a little bit of a different design than last year. You do still have the same connections, which are two 12-volt outlets, a USB port, and an aux jack. However, the cover is gone from last year's model, but it is replaced by a Qi wireless charging pad on the Limited models only. Coming back, you will still find 3-stage heated front seats on the Value Edition trims and higher, and back behind that is the drive mode button. Now there are 3 different modes you can pick between, and new for 2019 is a nice animation that pops up on the screen. So right now we have it in Smart mode. You also have a normal mode, as well as a Sport mode. It also pops up in the new gauge cluster. However, the shifter stays the same for 2019. It is leather wrapped on the Value Edition trims and higher, and just pull back for drive, and if you want to shift manually, kick it to the left. You can do it through here, or through the standard paddle shifters on the Sport model. Now when you go into reverse, you will find a standard backup camera on all models, and it does have dynamic grid lines. It's also worth noting that on models equipped with the blind spot monitor, it does have rear cross traffic alert, which I've found is very helpful. Now coming up from that, you will find a standard dual zone automatic climate controls on the Value Edition trims and higher. Now this is a little bit of a revised design for 2019, but it still has the same functionality and a very nice look overall. It's very simple to use. You adjust your temperatures through these knobs, and you can adjust the fan speed with this center knob. Coming up from that, now let's take a sample of the standard 6-speaker audio system. Overall, I really like this audio system. I really have no complaints since this is a cheap car. However, if that's not good enough for you, there is an 8-speaker Infinity audio system standard on the Limited trim. And now that brings us to the 7-inch display on our model, so let's go ahead and take a look at the Hyundai BlueLink system. Alright, so for 2019, the Hyundai BlueLink system isn't going to see any changes. You still have your home screen here, and you have all your different apps that you can go in. Right now my music is right here in the big tile here, and it's through Apple CarPlay, so clicking on it will take me to Apple CarPlay. Now obviously this is one of the biggest features that you're looking for in a car like this, and you do have all the standard functionality. Now it is worth noting that the standard 5-inch display does not have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Obviously you do have your standard functionality, and now you do have also Google Maps if you have the iOS 12 update. You can even put it in this nice satellite view, which is really cool. It's kind of like Audi MMI. Now to get back to the Hyundai BlueLink system, you just hit the home button. And obviously you do have stuff in here like your standard phone connections. You have your phone here, and it would give you like all the contacts and stuff, but it's going to take me back to Apple CarPlay since I have that connected. Well, that's pretty much all I'm going to cover in the Hyundai BlueLink system. But if you really want a detailed tutorial of it, follow the link in the description to our BlueLink tutorial. Now coming up from that, you will find an auto-dimming rearview mirror on the Value Edition trims and higher. Also on those same trims, you will find a standard moonroof. Now this is just your standard size moonroof, but it is a very nice look to it, and it lets a lot of light into the cabin. So overall, obviously I'm a really big fan of the 2019 Elantra's cabin. It's really not that much different from the 2018 model that I own, but you do have a few nice touches like this really nice steering wheel and updated tech. Hyundai did a really good job with this cabin, and I'm glad to see that it only gets better for 2019. It's also worth noting that you do have Hyundai's Safe Exit Assist on the very high-end trims. Now let's go ahead and check out the rear seats. Now the rear door trim of the Elantra doesn't get cheaped out like a lot of rivals do. You still have a nice padding where your elbow will rest, as well as above it. Your rear window is power, but it's not automatic, and down below that you do have plenty of door storage, as well as a bottle holder. Now as far as rear space is concerned in the Elantra, you're going to find 35.7 inches of legroom and 37.3 inches of headroom. That's about average for the class, and for reference, that's a little bit bigger than the Corolla, a little bit less than the Honda Civic. These rear seats are pretty soft. Let's go ahead and get in. Now coming down, you will find these nice cup holders in the center console, but not any vents or anything. And you will also notice that we do not have an armrest. That comes on the Limited model. Up top we do have a center dome light. And we also have an assist grip and coat hook. It's also worth noting that on the Limited Ultimate trim you do have heated rear seats. But as far as rear space is concerned, behind my own seating position, I'm 5'9" for reference, my feet can slide up under the seat, and I do have probably 6 to 8 inches of legroom, so this is a pretty spacious offering. And you do also have these nice knee cutouts on the back of the seat. Now with the seat scooted all the way back, my knees are pretty much touching the seat, but overall it's not too uncomfortable. So overall, there's not really anything different for the 2019 Elantra's rear seat, which means it's still a spacious and nice offering for the class. Now, opening the trunk on the 2019 Elantra is pretty neat. All you have to do is locate this top button in the Hyundai emblem and push it and it will open up. Now inside you're going to find 14.4 cubic feet of space, which is class competitive. It's also worth noting that the rear seats do fold 60-40 split. Additionally, Hyundai does give you a nice cargo net, and underneath the floor here, you will find a spare tire. I also really like this grab handle. I find it very handy. The passenger seat obviously is manually adjusting, and it's the same design as the driver's. Now in front of the passenger, you do have a little bit of a different design. Like I mentioned earlier, you have that carbon fiber texture above this vent, and the vents themselves do look a little different this year. Down below that, you do still have a dampened glove box. Actually, I think the dampening is new for 2019. It's still not felt lined though, and it's pretty good sized. Up top, you do have a sun visor. You do have a separated light. And it can also detach, and it has an extension in the end. Well guys, that's all I'm going to cover up here, so let's go ahead and get to the powertrain and do a quick test drive. So one of the things that they left alone for 2019 on the Elantra is under the hood. Most of the models will still come with this engine, which is a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder that produces 147 horsepower and 132 pound-feet of torque. It is paired to a 6-speed automatic transmission. However, the SE model can be equipped with a 6-speed manual. After that, you do have a dedicated engine just for the sport trim, which is a 1.6-liter turbo i4 producing 201 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque. Like the SE, it also has a 6-speed manual standard, but it does have an exclusive 7-speed dual-clutch automatic available. And finally, there is another choice, which is the Eco model, which obviously gets the best fuel economy of the bunch, but I'm not going to overwhelm you with all the engine facts and everything, so just know that that is available if you want really good fuel economy. All models drive through the front wheels only, and as you would expect, there are several different fuel economy figures. The most common variation, which is like what we have here, is rated at 28 city, 37 highway, 32 combined, and the SE model gets 1 mile per gallon better. The Sport's 1.6-liter turbo still gets good fuel economy at 26 city, 33 highway, 29 combined. And that's the basic rundown of the powertrain, so let's go ahead and do a quick test drive and see how it compares to the 2018 model that I own. Alright, so getting up to speed on the Elantra is obviously not a problem. So I own the 2018 version, and there's not any powertrain modifications over that model. So this drives very similar to my car. Acceleration I find to be perfect. I don't really find that it's super underpowered unless I have the air conditioning on and I'm trying to like merge onto a freeway. But 147 horsepower places it right around middle of the pack as far as power is concerned, and I don't find that as a problem in a small car like this. It's also worth noting here that people in this class, myself included, a 2-liter engine, you don't really want to hear a lot of it, and a lot of the rivals, when you push the gas, they make a lot of noise. That's not the case in the Elantra. It's very quiet. Hyundai has actually added some sound deadening, additional sound deadening for 2019 in this model. And as you can hear, I shifted down to go up this hill, and you can barely hear this engine at all. And honestly, that's what I want personally in a car like this because it doesn't sound super great, so I would rather just not hear it at all. And the Elantra nails that perfectly. Ride quality in the Elantra is also very impressive for a small car. We've ridden in a lot of the rivals like the Corolla and the Civic. This ride quality is probably the softest of the bunch. It's a very impressive ride quality, and the transmission I really love in the Elantra. The six-speed automatic, excuse me. It's a very smooth transmission. When I hit the accelerator really hard, so let's try. Shifts is smooth, and like I said, you can't really hear the engine, which is nice. So overall, in terms of driving, the Elantra is just a very impressive vehicle overall. So the reason I bought the car is that it rides smooth, it's a very comfortable vehicle, and it's very refined for a small vehicle. I'm very impressed by everything they've done, and they haven't really changed that for 2019, but that's not a bad thing. So if you're interested in looking at a vehicle that feels a class above what it is, has great value and everything like that, the Elantra could be a perfect mix for you. Well guys, we hope you enjoyed watching the first in-depth look of the 2019 Hyundai Elantra Value Edition. Stay tuned for the pricing information, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons below. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.